All right, so today I have on our list a little numbers exercise. We're going to try translating some numbers into Spanish, and we're going to try answering some questions that involve numbers, right? Then I'd like to talk about, we've been doing reflexive pronouns, where we place them in verbs. A couple of weeks ago, someone had asked to do weather, so we'll do weather today. And then we'll do some more reflexive pronoun practice. Hopefully we'll have enough time for all of that, right? All right, so down in this little box here, you could see the higher numbers in Spanish. 100, 101, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000, 2000, 10,000, 100,000, 100,000, a million, 1,000,000, right? All right. We're going to first start with an exercise, right? Together to get us thinking about numbers. All right, so we go with the first one. I want you to tell me, how do we say this first number in Spanish? This will be the easiest one, so everybody could get this one, right? And if you want, you could go ahead and tell me the others as well. You can keep going. So, right, our first number, perfect, 3. All right. What is our second number? How do we say 33 in Spanish? Right. So actually, it's 3 words. 30 y 3. 30 and 3. 30 y 3. Great. All right. 333. So we have to first account for the 300, right? And then we have to account for the 33. So we already know how to say 33. So how do we say 300? 300. Right? 30 y 3. Now, does anyone want to ask a question about why it's 300? All right. What are the other things we might have put? We might have wanted to put 100, right? So 100, we use this form, the shortened form, in front of masculine singular nouns. So right now we don't have a noun, so we have no reason to shorten it. Right? All right, so 333. Okay, next one. So now we're up to 3,333 million. I'm sorry, 3,333. We'll get to the million just now. 3,333. How do we say 3,000? Right. So 3,000. 333. Right? So I have to erase this here to get some space. Right? All right, now if I just reveal what is behind the boxes, you can see 3,33, 333, right? And 3,000, 333, right? Okay, what about what about the next one? So we're still dealing with thousands here, right? This should take you back to like standard 1 or standard 2, maybe. I don't remember when exactly we did this. We had to label. This is tens, this is units, this is hundreds, this is thousands, and now this is tens of thousands, right? All right, so we need 33,000, right? 33,000. In English, that's what we would say. We would say, this is the English, so don't write the English. 33,000, right? And we know in Spanish, the word for thousand is mil. And 33 is 33. Okay? Then the word for hundreds is cientos, and it follows from what we have above, right? So 300, 33. Right? All right, look and tell me if you have any questions, anything you want to ask. What is Spanish for millions? Millón. M-I-L-L-O accent N. All right. Now, note 2, I will point out that meal did not change, even though it was tres, right? Meal stayed the same. There's no es added to it. It doesn't become tres miles, right? But cientos means that ciento changed, right? This one is changed, and just now for million, we will see that has changed too, right? All right. That's, oops. Okay, tell me the next one. 333,333. 5. So this is number 6 that we're on now. How do we say 333,000? $300 is still 300, right? And 33 is still 33, right? So 300 is 300, 33 is 33. right? Oops, I have an extra S here for some reason. Right. And then 333, 300 is 300, 30 y 3. Right? And let me just uncover the answer here. Yes, we have the same thing. Okay, great. Wait, I left out my 1,000. I left out my 1,000, guys. I have 333, but I didn't put any word 1,000. That's a big problem. Because then it sounds like I'm saying 333, 333. So I have to put in meal. Right? 300, 33 mil. All right, now million will agree in number. So we will add ES to million when we write it for number, the last one, right? All right, can I clear away all my little scribbles on the screen? Because the answers are written into the document. And let's do the last one, right? So yeah, I think color coding is a nice idea. Soraya is doing that. Yes, trace, and this is 3 million, right? So trace, million is for million, right? But we're going to make it plural, so we will add es since it's a noun that ends in an n. Millones, so 3 millones. Um, 300. 33. And now I have to put in 1,000, right? No. Yeah, okay, it's the same thing. All right. Meal. So I have to say meal, which does not change. It doesn't get an extra ES when it's up to more than 1,000. It remains as meal, right? And then I have 300, right? And then 33. Right? I didn't put in the second I with the accent in me. Right. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, because when we make it plural, it loses the accent. So whereas Myung has an accent when it's singular, right? It has an accent to tell you to put the stress here. Without the accent, we would say Myung. The stress would go on the I instead, right? Because the rules of Spanish pronunciation, if it ends in a consonant, it goes over here, right? So the accent is there to tell us stress the O, Myung, right? When I make it plural and I add ES, the stress automatically moves to the O, so I don't have to put back the accent. That's the logic behind it, right? The simple rule is in the plural, it doesn't have an accent. Just remember the spelling for now. Eventually, this term itself, probably within a few weeks, we will do a revision of pronunciation and stresses for syllables and words. Right? All right, any questions anybody wants to ask? I don't know why I still have this covered. Right. Anything anybody wants to ask or say? If anyone is feeling lost, I would like to know, right? If anybody feels like they have no idea where Miss get these numbers from, why I think you should know it, please message and say, right? Not to get a buff, but so I could get an idea of if the lesson got across or if anybody is confused, if how many people are confused, right? Okay, so we have a little friendly tutor here with some more practice for us. Let's do the first exercise. I'm gonna call 5 numbers in Spanish, and I want you to write down what you hear me say, right? If you for some reason cannot write on pen and paper, but you could write in the chat, you could do that, right? This is a listening exercise. Okay, everybody ready? You could write it in words or you could write it in numbers. All right. First one, 96. 96. Right. Second one, 15. 15. Third one, 21. 21. Okay, everybody who has sent an answer correct so far. Next one, 500. 500. All right. Next one, 1993. 1993. You could, if you know, you could be unsure about the answer. You just type what you think you heard, right? All right, next one, $100. $100. Dólares is not a number. What am I saying? $100. All right. Next one, so we're on the 7th one now. 2024. 2024. All right. 10 millones. 10 millones. All right. 444. 444. 444. And one more. Trying to think of a hard one. Um, 200 Not so hard. 200,000. 200,000. All right. Um, okay. So how was that? The easy ones were easy and the hard ones were hard, right? Okay, so the first one was 96. Sorry, 90, yeah, 96, right? That was it. 96. Right? So what is that? The next one was 15. The next one was 21. The next one, now this is where it starts to get hard for some people. 500. Right? Then I had meal. Oh, right, yeah. 1993. Right. So tell me what I have there. What is there? Okay, so 96 normal, 15 normal, 21 normal. 500 is 500, right? If you feel like you're seeing this for the first time, you need to go back to the slide with numbers. This is an irregular number, it doesn't follow the pattern, and learn it, right? All right, now this I've given you a year here in the last one. Meal, so that is 1,000. 900, that is 900. Right? Oops, not 9,000, 900. It's 1,000, right? And 93, 93. Right? So 1993. Right? Okay. The next number I gave you was $100. So here is an example of the 100, as in normal word for 100 is ciento, but then we scratch off the to because it's in front of a, I told you singular just now, but my bad, masculine noun, right? $100. $100, right? Then I give you 2,024, right? And then I give you 10 millones, 400, uh-oh, 44, right? And then I give you dos, what did I tell you here? Dos cientos mil, right? All right, so let's go through these. So again, pay attention to the ones that were hard for you, right? So $100 is $100. 2024, 2024, right? 10 millones, 10 million, right? 400, 444. 40. 40, sorry, y cuatro, right? And then dos cientos mil, dos cientos, 200,000. Right, so look at them. Tell me, you could tell me, I would like to know which ones were hard. I think once we got to the 4-digit numbers, that was kind of hard, right? So fair warning, the homework that I'm going to ask you to do is to put a bunch of 4-digit numbers into words. So when you are doing it, if you get confused and you feel like you don't know anything, not anything, sorry, you can't figure out how to answer a question, please message and ask, right? All right, so I'm pausing the recording. Okay. ¿Cuál es la fecha? La fecha. ¿Cuál es la fecha? How do we say, what is today's date? Today is the 25th. How do we say today's date? We start off with today is, right? So we start with hoy es. What do we need to say? The 24th of September 2024, right? So tell me, how do we say the 24th? So the days of the month will only run from 1 to 31. So that should be manageable for everybody, right? Oh, I forgot the day of the week. Look at that. Thank you, Eli. What day of the week is today? All right, so because I have the 24th written here, I will put that first, but I'll come back and put in the day of the week, right? So el 24, right? And today is Wednesday. Right? So Wednesday, miércoles. Right? Now, whereas in English, we tend to capitalize days of the week and months of the year. In Spanish, we do not, right? All right. El 24, oh, sorry, 25. Oh my God. But I have 24th written on top. So y'all can change it to 5 and 5 if you want. But I have 24 on the screen, so I'm going to leave it. De septiembre. Now, if you sent your answer in the chat, double check the spelling. Oops, and I'm putting a capital S, but I really need a common S. Right? Septiembre. Right? And how do we say 2024? Dos mil 24, right? So we do not need to say the 0 as the placeholder. We don't need to say 0 hundreds. We just say 2024 and 24, right? All right, any questions about the dates? So mine is a little all over the place, but you could follow it, right? Hoy es miércoles el 24 de septiembre de 2024. I should put de in front of this. And those of you who are doing orals not this year, but next year, the year will be 25. Right? If it is the year after, 26. If it is the year after, 27. All right. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? So let us start ourselves off with this sentence. Mi cumpleaños es. This is a terrible choice of ink. Right. Mi cumpleaños es. Right. Tell me, when is your birthday? In Spanish. I don't want to hear in English. All right. All right, good. Mi cumpleaños es, I'm just going to put some of the things people have sent. El 6 de enero. What is that? The 6th of January, right? All right, what else? El 12. Remember, 12 is with a C. I just almost wrote with an S too. De, I just going to pick a month. Agosto. Right? Any of these could work. Now, let me just point out something to us that in English we say my birthday. Sometimes we say my birthday is on the 30th of February or whatever, right? This on does not get translated, right? That is conveyed just by the. So it's just my birthday is the whatever, right? So we put in the ale. Mi cumpleaños es el. So everybody, please write down a sentence with when your birthday is, right? Because this is an oral question that you can get. Make sure that you have the ale. If you're not sure about a spelling, you can put it in the chat and I'll check it for you. Even if you invert the order, you put the month first, es marzo. Oops, marzo. El 25. And guys, I have to say that in general, the class seems to need to review the numbers in the 20s, right? Remember that while for the other numbers, it's 3 words, 30 y uno. 60 y dos, right? If for the 20s, it's 21, one word. 22, and this is an I, not an E here. 23, 24. If you sent me a 20-something, no mind you didn't make a mistake, great. But I think that is just like 2 people of everybody who sent it. And it's not just here, right? It's also like in the homework that I've seen it and in the exercises earlier. Right? It is I think it's best if you put the number and then the month. So el 25 de marzo, for example, mi cumpleaños es el 25. So if you instead of this order, I would prefer if the el 25 came first. Right? Okay, everybody is okay with that? Any questions about that? All right. All right, now there's another construction I want to show you to answer this question. And in English, sometimes we say, my birthday falls on, or when does your birthday fall on? So that verb to fall is caer, right? So you could also say at any homework, if you did it, you would have seen it. Cuando cae tu cumpleaños. Okay, I don't know. Right? So you could also get cuando cae tu cumpleaños. Right? And you would write, my birthday falls on, and you would say, mi cumpleaños cae en el, whatever, 3 de abril. And remember again that the months take common letters in Spanish, right? All right. Next question, ¿cuántos años tienes? And most people understand they need to say tengo and the number of years, right? Okay, I'm gonna clear away some of this. I can clear away all of this, right? Except maybe the last thing I wrote. Right, so tengo 13 años, tengo 20 años, tengo however many años you tienes, right? So the construction for this is tengo, and you fill in your number, años, right? Now another version of this question is ¿qué edad tienes? Right? And this, I think, was a little confusing to some who hadn't seen it before. ¿Qué edad tienes? Right? Now, if somebody asks you this and you respond with tengo, however many años, no problem, right? What they're asking you is what age do you have? So if you wanted to say what age you are, you could say mi edad, mi edad is, and whatever the number is. 60 años. Right? Or 13 años, or 15 años, or 14 años, whatever it is, right? My age is. Blah, 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 right? All right. Ready? Let's talk about our address. No. If you are asked your address, you don't have to give the exact one, right? They're just checking to see that you could organize the information in the way that one would for an address, right? Now in Spanish, a lot of things are done in a different order from in English. So that's really what they're checking to see, right? So I'm gonna give you one possible answer. ¿Cuál es tu dirección? What is your address? And we're looking to use a number for a house on a street, right? So mi dirección is, so if I want to say the number número 27. No, you could by rights put in 27 if you're actually given this. But since we are practicing with numbers, I'll write it out. 27, right? So el número 27 the of street name, I'm gonna call my street Santa Ana, right? So de calle Santa Ana, right? And then the place that you live, Sangre Grande, right? Right? Or if you are saying Puerto, some people said Puerto Spain in their address, Puerto de España. If it can be said in a Spanish way, say it in a Spanish way. Right? Okay, well, oh, hey, look, here is Qualis Tuida, but we already answered that. So go us. We're done with this list, right? All right, anybody want to check their answer for address in the chat? You could do so. Right? Let's see, I'm gonna give you all, let's say, a minute again because I don't think you'll need more than that to write down whatever you're writing, and then we could time a break after that, right? All right, so this is the homework assignment. I'm asking you to write out these numbers in words, right? The link to it is there, I think this is it, right? Put it in the chat. It's also, well, if Sid didn't post it as yet on the website, he will after class when he posts the video, right? The password for Spanish is SOFA. And this is it, right? So just try, right? You have to start by saying what your name and what form you are in is, right? What is your form? What is your name? What is your form, right? Write down the numbers below in Spanish words. So I shouldn't get them in English words, right? And I shouldn't get them back in numbers. And somebody tell me, well, these are Spanish numbers, right? All right. The points may look like a lot, but I mean, like each one, for every word that you have to get right, basically I've given you a point, right? So just try. If you run into difficulty, you feel like you really have no idea how to do it, please message and ask for clarification. Let me also recommend that you look back at at this slide, right? At these notes. I have it up here if you need to take a screenshot, right? Especially what is in this colorful box down here. Right? All right. The link to the form again. Yeah, okay, let's do it this way. Okay, I can't do it this way. Okay, hold on. Let me just get it back from in the PowerPoint. Oh my, okay. Right. Right, when I click on it, it takes me here. So I think it was the other one working. Yeah, the other one was working too, right? So it will ask for your email address. That way you get a copy of your results after you submit it, right? All right. What's the next thing we're doing? Okay, so we've been working on reflexive pronouns. I want to tie up some of the rules. You could answer in English or you could answer in Spanish. I can't remember if I gave marks for it. I'll probably give 2 marks. The whole thing is out of 65. Answer in Spanish. No, you all know how to answer in Spanish. The name, just put the name in Spanish. And the form, just put the number, right? Like the actual number, not the words. Okay, let's get to the other thing we have to do. And hope that we'll finish today. Right, so we have been revising, not revising, some of us are doing it for the fifth time, and some of us are revising reflexive pronouns, right? So today I just want to go over the rules for where we put reflexive pronouns when we meet them, when we have to put them into a sentence, right? So in most tenses, so I have written over here the simple past tense. What other tenses do you know? Besides the simple past tense, what other tenses do you know of in Spanish or even English? Continuous, right? Well, not that one, not the continuous tense. What else you know? Tell me. Okay, not the one with the present participle. Present tense is one, right? What else? What other past tense you know you've heard of imperfect, future, right? Conditional. So this rule that we're looking at on the right hand side applies to most of these tenses, all of these tenses, right? Perfect tense is another one some people have met, right? All right. So when we have the simple present tense and others like it, right? The reflexive pronouns, which are the may, taste, say, knows, say pronouns, they are placed in front of the verb, before the verb, right? If you've done object pronouns before, you know that object pronouns come in front of the verb. In English, they come after the verb. I gave it to him. It is an object pronoun. It comes after gave in English, but in Spanish, it comes in front, right? So same for reflexive verbs. I shower before I go to school. Me ducho antes de ir a la escuela. So I shower, me ducho, ducharse is the reflexive verb here, right? So I need to conjugate duchar and then match the pronoun to I, so me, right? And it comes in front of the verb, in front of ducho. Antes, before I go to school, before going to school. Antes de ir a la escuela, right? Okay, another example. Miguel gets up at 5 in the morning. I have a typo here. Miguel se levanta a las 5 de la mañana or de la madrugada, right? Do I have another example? No. Right. So we're taking down the rule and we're taking down the examples. Right? So please make a note. Right? And the note is that these tenses with the present tense and other tenses like it, the reflexive pronoun goes in front of the verb. Right? Since this is the law school class, this is the rule you will need most of the time, right? At this point in your Spanish career, right? The next set of rules, though, I want you to have together with this, even though right now you may not be using it so much, in a couple months you might. Right, so where do we place the reflexive pronoun when we are dealing with the infinitive, when we are dealing with the present participle, when we are dealing with positive commands? Well, before we talked about it being placed before the verb, in these instances, they have to go after the verb, right? So they are placed after the verb. Now, to shorten the note, you could just add in, actually you can't. Let's just leave it. We'll take it down as this, right? All right, so the first example, I am going to get up at 8. So to get up, if it's me, the person, is levantarse, right? I am going to, okay, so I am going to, that is a conjugated verb. I am going, voy. from you, right? But to get up, the to form of any verb is the infinitive, right? So that means the AR, the ER, the IR form. We don't change the ending. So even though we don't change the ending, we still have to change the pronoun to match who is doing the action, right? So we have voy a levantarme a las 8. Now it is possible you could say me voy a levantar. So if you forget, hey, I'm supposed to put this at the end and you put me voy a levantar, that is okay. But you're more likely to see this or hear this or be expected to do this, right? So I am going to get up, to get myself up, right? The myself is understood. Levantarme a las 8. So we do not conjugate levantar. When we have two verbs next to each other, one of them is going to need to be in the infinitive. Right? All right, next example. She is sitting on the sofa. Sentarse. So this is an example that has to do with the present participle, right? Is sitting, the ing form of the verb is the present participle, right? So ella está, she is sitting, sentando. And then we put in the reflexive pronoun at the end, this time and not in front, se. Ella está sentándose. Now, when we put in the reflexive pronoun, we need to put in an accent here to keep the stress, right? Just as we were discussing with Myung, right? Sentando, when it was just sentando by itself, the stress naturally fell here because in Spanish, if the verb ends in a vowel, we put the stress on this second to last syllable. If the word ends in a vowel. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay. So ordinarily, the stress goes here, sentando. No accent needed. When we add say to the end, however, we have to put in an accent because otherwise the stress is going to fall to here, right? Since we stress the second to last syllable in a verb that ends in a vowel, in a word, sorry, that ends in a vowel, right? So rather than say sentándose, we say sentándose and we put an accent, right? So an accent is added to keep the stress. That is not the focus of this lesson now. I'm just explaining it so you understand what you're writing. You don't need to remember it. Lower school students don't need to remember it at this point. Right? Okay, and then the next verb, in affirmative commands, who has done commands already in school? We didn't do them here as yet, but who has done commands already? All right, so in affirmative commands, that means when you say to somebody, do this, do that, do the other, not as opposed to negative commands, which are like, don't do this, don't talk, don't sit, don't look at me, don't be here, right? That's negative commands. But affirmative is when you tell them what to do. So you have an affirmative command, you place the pronoun at the end of the affirmative command, join them to the end of the verb. Wash your hands, girls. Lávense las manos, chicas. So note how this is spelled Lavense. We have an accent again for the same reason to keep the stress where it was originally before the pronoun, right? Okay, and then one other example. So if you've done commands, this will probably make a little more sense because it has something to connect. You have something to connect it to already, right? If you haven't done commands as yet, we're just understanding logic of what I'm saying for now. And then when we do commands, we will revise this again, right? Go to sleep early, my son. Duérmete temprano, mi hijo. So the command is duerme. I just like up here, it's laven. And then the verb was lavarse again. And here it was dormirse. Right? To sleep. Okay, any questions anybody wants to ask about these? If you have a question, think about it, put it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to move on. Now, we're not going to get to the reflexive pronoun practice, so next week we will do that. Next week, I want to finish up our time with reflexive verbs, right? So next week, we're going to do the practice exercise. And then for homework, you'll get a review assessment of what we've done so far, which is numbers, colors, and reflexive verbs, right? A comprehension with reflexive verbs. I may also ask you to write a paragraph talking about your morning routine. Okay? That's for next week. Let's clear this away. And then one more thing that I want to do. Okay, sorry, I left out the last example, but we'll do it out it for now. Put on your shoes and let's go. Ponte los zapatos y vamos. Okay. Two trainees are discussing the weather. What the weather like outside, boy? Boy, it making real hot out there. I'm not able with this heat now. I like when it making cold. Or at least if it's cloudy or raining, not so bad. Okay, so this expression, have you all heard Trinise use it in relation to the weather? It making hot or it making cold? Have you ever heard old people such as myself and your parents talk about the weather that way? It making this or it making that? So some of y'all are telling me flat out no, okay, no problem. But some people, yes, right? All right. This is a thing that we in Trinidad have borrowed from French and Spanish, right? This is how one states the weather. And quite a few expressions in Spanish. We talk about it's making this, right? So the verb hacer, right? So we have some expressions for weather here. El tiempo is the weather. ¿Qué tiempo hace? What is the weather like, right? Hace sol, it is sunny. Now you will know in Spanish to say it is está or es, right? So literally hace is it's making sun. Hacer, sorry, I have disconnected my pencil here. All right. Right. So from hacer, okay. Right. Hace frío, it is cold, right? Hace calor, it is hot. Está lloviendo, it is raining. What is hace buen tiempo? Down here on the left. Hace buen tiempo means what? Guys, it's the last 10 minutes of class. Everybody is too tired to continue. Come on. Hace buen tiempo. The weather is nice. The weather is good. Está nublado. So what do we notice here? We notice clouds. It is cloudy. And I could also convey the idea it is overcast, right? Hay un arco iris. There is a rainbow. Hace viento. It is windy. If you know this and you don't need it, you don't need to write it down a second time, right? If you have good notes on it, you do not need to write it down. If there is a new phrase here, you could write just that. You can make a note, revise weather, right? Está nevando. It is snowing. All right. So choose what you need to make a note of. If you've done it in school, you have very good notes, you know it by heart, you do not need to write down everything. If it is new to you, or there are a few expressions that you haven't met before, you want to just remind yourself of, then you can write those down, right? Okay, so I'm giving everybody 2 minutes to take what they need. Wrap up here. Can I clear away this writing? Everybody is done, right? Right. All right. So today, what did we do? We spent some time practicing with numbers, writing out the longer ones and doing some listening, right? So we know what we need to revise where we had trouble with. If we had trouble, we're going back to this slide, which I asked you to take a screenshot of if you didn't before, if you didn't write any numbers down. And for sure, we're memorizing, not memorizing, reviewing. Well, we're memorizing all, yes, but we're reviewing this box. And the class seems to be having some trouble with the numbers in the 20s. So we'll go back over those and how to spell them, right? We did this exercise where we wrote these numbers out in words, right? To get the answers, someone would have to go back to the recording. Or you could take a screenshot here, right? And what else did we do? We answered these questions. We did an oral exercise, answer these questions. If you want to get the answers or practice with the orals, go back to the recording, right? And then we went over, well, we discussed what the homework was. Sorry, guys, I just had a few people who joined late, so I'm giving them time to get slides that they missed, right? So that is the homework, that link for practicing numbers, and you need to ask if you need help with it. And then we went over these 2 slides and the placement of subject pronouns. Great if you started the homework already, right? All right. Try not to use a Google Translate for the homework, please. It is more important we know what you need to revise than that you get it completely right. Right? Right. So next week, we want to finish up with this unit on reflexive pronouns. And after that, if anybody has a grammar topic they want to cover, they could say. Otherwise, I'm going to stem changing verbs, right? All right. Once you have all the information, you have everything you need, you have no questions, you're free to go. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You have been an excellent class as always.